Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about Mike Evans. And I know a lot of Bucs fans love Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans. He is probably my favorite player currently playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who has been here a long time on the team. He's great. He's only 27 years old, and he's already established himself as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I know there are still some pockets of the NFL fan bases who still really kind of, overlook Mike Evans when talking about some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I know that even division rival fans overlook Mike Evans as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. To me, I think that that's just ludicrous, but it is what it is. It happens to players from time to time. It's been happening to Lavonte David for years. But the reason we're making this video today is because Mike Evans has a chance to have yet another NFL record this upcoming week versus the Atlanta Falcons. If he gets 40 receiving yards, he will break Randy Moss's record for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons to start an NFL career. Mike Evans has already tied Randy Moss's record with 6. If he gets 40 yards, that means that he will have his record completely to his own with 7, and it looks like that record probably isn't going to be broken anytime soon. Some of his competition, guys like Michael Thomas, he unfortunately will not be able to break that record because he had dealt with a lot of injuries this year, and it's impossible. He can't do it. So besides Michael Thomas, there isn't a ton of people that I can think of who are, on track to compete with that record. If there are, let me know down in the comment section below. But Mike Evans, the greatness of Mike Evans and what he means to this Buccaneers franchise is so much more than this record. And I want to just delve a little bit deeper into how great Mike Evans has been for this team and just appreciate him. And this is Mike Evans' appreciation video, basically, and I want to talk about if he can or cannot break that record in Week 17 versus the Falcons. But to start, we're going to talk about some of the other records that Mike Evans has. So let's start with Buccaneers franchise records, okay? So as it stands, Mike Evans has the most receiving touchdowns in a season by a Buccaneers wide receiver, which is 13. He broke his own record, which was 12. He has the most receiving touchdowns by a rookie in a season for a Buccaneers wide receiver. That was when he had 12 in 2014. Mike Evans is only 27, by the way. He has the most consecutive games with at least one touchdown reception, that being 5. That record also being set this year by Mike Evans. He has the most games of 100 yards receiving in a career for the Buccaneers, as a wide receiver in the entire history of the team. He has 28 100-yard receiving games from 2014 to the present day. He has the most receiving yards per game in a career with 78.3. Again, Buccaneers franchise record there. Most consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons in franchise history, of course, because he's also going to be trying to break the NFL record for that as well. He has the most seasons of 1,000 receiving yards with 6. Again, he has not had a single season below 1,000 receiving yards. Most receiving touchdowns in a career with 61. Most receiving yards in a career with 8,220. Most receiving yards in a season with 1,524. And most receptions in a career with 529. He basically holds all of the important wide receiver. In fact, he might just hold all of the wide receiver records in franchise history for the Buccaneers. I think he's already a shoo-in to be in the Ring of Honor, hands down. But the way he's playing right now, at the pace that he has been 7 years into his, career as a player, he's on a Hall of Fame caliber pace, in my opinion, and I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. So I want to go ahead and go into the NFL record. So right now, again, the record we just talked about, most seasons of 1,000 yards receiving to begin a career with 6. That is tied with Randy Moss. He has a chance to beat that in Week 17 versus the Falcons. Youngest player to reach 7,000 career receiving yards. He was 26 years and 81 days old. Youngest player to reach 6,000 career receiving yards. 25 years, 131 days old. Youngest player to have 5 seasons of 1,000 receiving yards. 25 years, 95 days old. And then youngest player to have 6 seasons of 1,000 receiving yards. 26 years and 95 days old. And then finally, the last record that he has in terms of NFL records is the youngest player with 200 or more yards in a game. He was 21 years, 87 days old. Mike Evans has a lot of records, both franchise records for the Buccaneers and NFL records just as a whole. The man has got a lot of good things going for him. He's a community leader. He's a record holder both in the NFL and for the Buccaneers. He's an all-around great player. So is he going to do it? Is Mike Evans going to, make NFL history yet again, officially breaking a record that was set a very long time ago by Randy Moss by having the most consecutive seasons of 1,000 receiving yards to start a career? In my opinion, I'm going to say yes, I believe he is. He is playing against the Atlanta Falcons that he did pretty good against last time, and I think he is going to have opportunities to make plays. I don't think it's going to be a scenario where the Atlanta Falcons are just going to say, you know what, screw everybody else, let's just triple team Mike Evans so he doesn't get the record. That's not going to happen. They might double team Mike Evans, but you also have to respect Chris Godwin. You also have to respect Antonio Brown. The Falcons are still trying to win this ball game, right? I mean, Raheem Morris just interviewed for the head coaching position for the Atlanta Falcons, trying to become a full-time coach. He wants to get as many wins as possible. Nobody's going to sit there in that Falcons organization and think, yeah, let's just solely try to stop Mike Evans. I mean, whichever cornerback is going up against Mike Evans will definitely think that, but the entire organization, their sole goal is not going to be stopping Mike Evans, which I feel is the only way that they could stop Mike Evans from getting this record. So I think it will happen. Everybody wants it to happen, by the way. The coaching staff wants it to happen. The players want it to happen. Guys like Tom Brady, Byron Leftwich, Bruce Arians, I'm sure Jason Light wants it as well. Everybody wants this to happen, for Mike Evans to make NFL history, because quite frankly, he deserves it. He really is one of the better wide receivers in the NFL, and he's been phenomenal. The Buccaneers are so fortunate to have a wide receiver like Mike Evans leading the charge and being the locker room leader that he is, being the community presence that he is, and being just the overall phenomenal player that he is. The Buccaneers are so fortunate to have Mike Evans as their top wide receiver. And I've seen some people say that, Chris Godwin's better and, all these different types of things. And still, for my money, I would say that Mike Evans is still the best wide receiver on this team, maybe besides Antonio Brown, who you can make a legitimate argument for. Antonio Brown, when he is fully ready to go, he's one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. I would still put Mike Evans at maybe top 7 at least. I would say he's up there. I really have no doubts about that in my mind. Every single year he proves in and year out that he just continues to make plays regardless of who is the quarterback. He has had Tom Brady as his quarterback, which has been obviously the best thing that has happened to him. Blaine Gabbert has thrown him passes. Jameis Winston has thrown him passes. Ryan Fitzpatrick has thrown him passes. I don't believe Ryan Griffin has thrown him passes, but Josh McCown has thrown him passes, and Mike Glennon has thrown him passes. He has had to work with a decent amount of quarterbacks, most so being Jameis Winston for, I believe 5 years out of his career, but still, he's had a handful of quarterbacks throw him the ball in many different situations, and regardless of who has been throwing him the ball, and regardless of the year and what their record is, Mike Evans has always been able to be one of the best players on this Buccaneers roster every single year. In fact, I would say probably the top 2 or 3 offensive player on this Buccaneers roster every single year. That's just what he does. So, with that being said, guys, yeah, I think that Mike Evans is going to get this record. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's absolutely great. He's got the greatest quarterback of all time throwing him the football, and everybody wants him to get this record. So you know what? They're probably going to give Mike Evans a lot of chances to get 40 yards receiving to break this record, and I cannot wait for the Falcons game to see if he can do it. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section below, guys. Do you think Mike Evans will get the record? Let me know. And just, why do you like Mike Evans as a receiver? Let me know that as well. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucks.